All right. So now, I've been thinking about what the next step to do here is, and we are going to add keyboard events and mouse events, maybe, to this code. This code way up here. I was thinking about the initial plan was to take all of this code I've been writing and then shoehorn it into the other code base, right? And make this into some type of canvas adapter. I'm starting to realize that might be a little bit difficult. Um, and it might also create more objects than necessary. I don't want to do a thing that I don't know if there's a word for it, but I call it over containerization. And it's where you do a little, it's like OOP overkill. You start to like nest things too deep. And I would have to nest some of these objects a into that canvas adapter, and then there would be like, or I could have the canvas adapter, but it like references some of this code, but no matter how I do it, I'm gonna have this canvas adapter that has methods to access data on the GPU basically, or like set textures or whatnot. But I already have that functionality, so I would be creating two different ways, two different paths to do the same thing in my code if I created that texture adapter, because I already have these ways to get those pixels onto the texture, and the texture adapter, all that, sure, it would make it easier to conform to the abstraction of the previous code I wrote, but I think doing that would just get things tangled and ugly and convoluted. And the reason I want to avoid two different ways to do something is just because that increases the search space when you're trying to like follow the logic of the data flow. If there's only one way for that data to get up there on the GPU, then there's only one area you need to inspect, right? So I want to um, I want to make sure that I try to keep one variable name per concept or per whatever that does, right? Variable names with very strict definitions. And I also want to minimize the way that things are done. This is still kind of a mess. I don't know if that quite makes sense. I'm not the best at explaining things, but let's just get to it. Oh yeah, another thing is I do like this loop table concept that I have in the C code. So I realized that the canvas adapter abstraction from the previous code that I was writing might not quite fit into this abstraction. And when I have different abstractions for how I want to do things, I'm going to favor what I think is going to work best in C code, because I eventually want to like move things over to C, or at least have the option to, because I do anticipate hitting some type of limitation where C might fix the problem, or maybe Vulkan will fix the problem, or maybe I want to write the shaders in like OpenCL or something. Okay, so I really should have started a timer, shouldn't I have? I'm gonna stop recording just because I don't know how long this was, and also I'm just ranting again, trying to explain what I'm up to and what I'm about to do, So in the next video, we're gonna set up some type of an event listener. I don't know exactly how we're gonna do it, but it's not that I don't know how to do it, it's that I want to make sure I put it in the correct place.